Hi there, my name's Bryony, I'm the head of coaching here at Relish, and today we're talking about how to be happy in your relationship. So sometimes we can feel overwhelmed by issues that we're facing, and it can be hard to tell whether we're unhappy in the relationship, unhappy in our day-to-day life, what's kind of going on. And although we are ultimately responsible for our own happiness, research tells us that happiness is related to the quality of our relationship. So there's a really strong association between relationship satisfaction and well-being and mental health. So it's really helpful to be able to, first of all, look after our relationship and make sure we check in with how it's going, and also improve our own individual well-being. So we've got some tips for you about how to achieve this. So the first tip is to be honest. Often when we're obscuring how we're really feeling from our partner, whether it's that we're not comfortable being vulnerable or we're not quite sure how to communicate to them, this expends a lot of energy. So we can be spending a bunch of time and effort in pretending we're okay when we're actually not. So this is really, really important, and it doesn't have to be just in your relationship. It can also be with friends and family. See if you can be authentic and honest, and just take that risk to be emotionally vulnerable and let people know what's going on for you. Lots of people find that this frees up a lot of energy and time, and then you can kind of focus on addressing whatever the issue is. The second tip is be direct. So this is kind of around communication, and again, if we're being a bit passive aggressive, or if we're not comfortable being direct with our partner about what's happening, again, this kind of wastes a lot of time and energy. So assertive communication is really helpful, and at Relish we've got a lot of lessons and content around changing your communication style to being more direct and assertive. So I definitely recommend checking out Relish so you can learn a little bit more about improving communication and also coaching your partner to be more direct if they're struggling with this. Another tip is to check in. So again, this could be checking in with your partner, having a date night every week or couple of weeks where you talk about the big picture and how you're going. It could also be checking in with friends, loved ones, colleagues. Often we kind of get swept up in the busyness of day-to-day life, and we don't necessarily get a chance to talk about how we're really going. And again, research tells us that social support is one of the best moderators of stress. So even if we're going through a really stressful time, if we have social support in any form, whether that's a therapist, a friend, a partner, we find that we're much less impacted by it. So checking in is really important. Another tip is to be gracious. So if we tend to be a bit judgmental and critical of our partners or the people around us, this can feel good in the moment, particularly because it can sometimes make us feel a bit better about ourselves. But fundamentally, it does undermine the relationship, and it can make people less likely to be honest or vulnerable with us. So next time you are feeling judgmental of your partner, whether you express it or not, see if you can sort of put yourselves in their shoes and consider, okay, what might be going on for them? Maybe they're being lazy and haven't tidied up the house for a couple of days, but is there something going on for them that I don't understand or don't know about? And maybe I can give them the benefit of the doubt. We find that being gracious can really help improve our relationships, because people notice and they see that there's a degree of generosity there, and they give this back to us as well. Another tip for being happy in a relationship is to take some space. So personal space is fundamental, and when we look at the happiest couples, a lot of them have these thriving sort of other relationships that are happening, whether they're friendships, social relationships, being part of different groups. So often a relationship needs oxygen to thrive, and it can give you the chance to miss your partner as well. So perhaps taking space might mean taking a solo trip. It might mean having a day where you're not necessarily in touch with them, or that you do things totally separately, like have different meals. It could be just changing your routine so that you go and see friends on an evening as opposed to spending time with them. Whatever feels comfortable for both of you, and particularly if you set expectations around that. So don't just suddenly disappear and take that space. Negotiate this with your partner and talk about what they might want to do as well to have some personal space. Another tip is to have fun together. So again, research tells us that doing adventurous and exciting activities with our partner can be a bit of a reset. So it can help us to see them in a different light, produces dopamine, which is awesome, and it can be a bonding experience as well. So if you can have fun together with somebody that you already trust and that you know really well, it's a deeper experience. So see if you can, whether it's going on a hike, going on a karaoke night, going on a trip together, whatever it is, see if you can do that and get out of your comfort zone. Another tip is to take responsibility for your own happiness. So like I mentioned, relationship health and mental health and well-being are associated. But that said, there's a lot that we can do for ourselves kind of outside of our relationship. So again, it's often about having other social supports other than our partner. It's about having a place in the community. It's about looking after our own health. It's about having personal development goals. So if we can meet our core needs as well as our relationship needs, then we'll have a really good chance of having high well-being. And Relish has a wonderful exercise called the 10 core needs essential for happiness, which kind of covers this. And it's essentially that idea that well-being isn't just one thing, it's a number of different things, and we kind of have to work to balance these. So the final tip in terms of being happy in your relationship is to get help. So relationship apps like Relish, I guess it encourages you to use self-care, but for your relationship as well. So Relish has a lot of exercises which are around individual well-being. So again, that kind of 10 core needs side of things, working on mental health, self-esteem, family of origin issues, trauma issues, but also working on relationship issues too. So things like communication, trust, intimacy. So, life is kind of difficult and hard, particularly at the moment, and we don't have to do it by ourselves. And the good news is that a lot of relationship issues have been experienced by other people too. So a relationship app like Relish sort of incorporates a lot of the theory around relationship counselling and coaching and packages it in a really accessible, flexible format. So I definitely recommend trying Relish. You can try it for free for 7 days at the moment, and just seeing if there's things that you can take from that that will improve your happiness and well-being. Again, remember our relationship health is strongly associated with our happiness and mental health. So it's a really good place to start if you're looking to kind of address any sort of well-being issues. So I hope that was helpful. That's it from me, and see you next time.